It comes from Rick in New Mexico. He says, we're in our early 30s, make $120,000 a year, and we're financially stable. We want to buy a house, but with high prices and interest, our mortgage would be roughly $2,200 a month. We could afford the payments, but that's less we are able to save. My parents own several rentals, are financially stable, and want to buy us a house, so we would just pay them rent of $1,400 a month instead of us buying a house. They said once we pay it off with no interest, they will put my name on the house. But the problem is my father can be controlling, and historically, after doing something nice, he has been known to throw it back in my face down the road if he doesn't get his way, or if we do something he doesn't agree with. Should we take my parents' help or do it on our own?
Rick, you know this. The question you and your wife need to ask yourself is, what's the price of your marriage? And what's the price of your soul? And what's the price of that Thanksgiving dinner when your dad looks across the table and says, why didn't you do this? And you say, well, Dad, and he goes, I bought you a house. What's that all worth? What's that worth? Because the numbers you've laid out for me, it's not worth that. It is not worth that. You make too much money. You're doing too well. For you to subject yourself to somebody else bullying you around just because there's some money attached to it.
I'm not doing the strings attached deal, and he's already painting the picture of what his life is going to be like if he does this deal. And so I think you just need to say, hey, thanks so much for the offer. We're going to go our own way and buy our own house, but we appreciate you guys. And you guys make plenty of money. Make $120,000 a year. $2,200 sounds like a very reasonable mortgage payment. And if you feel like it's too high, or for some reason we're not getting all the details here, you can do something called waiting. And you keep saving until you have more down payment to lower that mortgage payment. So do it when you are ready, but don't be bullied into it. Don't be pressured into it, and because that is the worst thing you can do financially.
And let me say this, Rick, and to everybody listening. It's often that I hear situations like this where mom and dad want to help, but there's these subtle strings or really significant strings and all that attached to it. I'm going to give you this, but you got to do this. And if you ever do that, I don't want that life. Right. And then we turn around and feel pressured on the advice side. Yo, why aren't y'all buying a house? Y'all got to buy a house. Y'all just renting, you're just wasting money, just throwing money away, throwing it away. And so if you're not going to take the deal because you don't trust the character of the people involved in the deal, right? A gift won't be a gift. A gift is just another way to put hooks and string into you. Don't also fall prey to their advice and wisdom about how dumb you are with your money. You and your wife sit down and say, what kind of life do we want to create for ourselves? And can we create that life? And what do we got to do to make that thing happen? It might mean, like George said, it's going to take 2 years before we buy a house. Cool. We don't want it we can afford a $2,200 a month payment. We don't want that. We don't ever want a payment more than $1,750 or whatever. Cool. If that's what y'all decide, rock and roll. We're going to rent a little bit longer then and save up a little bit more. We're going to take a few more shifts or whatever that looks like. But don't take wisdom from people that are not trustworthy.
And the other danger of this is you guys pay $1,400 a month for 10 years, and all of a sudden he decides, you know what? I'm actually going to use this as a rental property because we need the money in retirement. And all of a sudden, you've been putting money into this thing that you don't actually own. Right. And so that's super risky. I would not take this deal.
Or little junior decides he's going to play soccer instead of baseball, and my boys are playing baseball. I'm taking whatever. You don't know what
baseball family.
You don't trust this guy. Yeah. No deal. I keep renting, man. Your marriage and soul are worth it.